She swore it was a one-time thing. I grew up in a house where second chances were a kind of sacrament, so I said okay and tried to believe my own voice when it said the word. I didn't know, right then, that the hardest part wouldn't be the betrayal. It would be the slow, daily work of losing my grip on what was true. I'm Scott, 40, accountant, the kind who knows what numbers are supposed to look like when they're honest. I reconcile things for a living, columns, accounts, patterns. If there's a mismatch, I can feel it the way a dentist feels a hairline crack. Vanessa is 38 and a fitness coordinator at a big club with all the mirrors and eucalyptus towels and playlists that make the place feel like a spaceship that learned to sweat. For years, people told us we looked like those smiling couples in gym flyers. He with a neat beard and soft eyes, she with shoulders built by early mornings and a grin that could make a treadmill forgive you. The night she told me, she didn't look like a flyer. She looked small in our kitchen, hands around a glass of water, the refrigerator humming like it had something to say. It was one time, she said, a mistake. It can be past tense if we make it that way. My mother taught me that second chances are a door God leaves unlocked when we're sure we've lost the key. My father, with his quiet hands and blue collar, taught me that you don't earn a second chance by promising. You earn it by showing up. I heard both of them in my head and said, "We'll go to therapy. We'll work." She nodded like I'd handed her a towel at the end of a hard class. "Thank you," she said. "You won't regret this." I did not regret believing in repair. I still don't. But there's a kind of repair that becomes denial if you hold it too tightly. You can polish a cracked plate until it shines. It's still cracked. We started on a Tuesday because everything hard seems to begin on Tuesdays. Our therapist, a woman named Dr. Levin with kind eyebrows and a way of sitting that made her chair look like a listening device, asked us to be specific. "Tell me what happened in your own words," she said to Vanessa. Vanessa's voice went careful. "There was a night," she said, "an after-hours staff meeting that turned into drinks that turned into bad judgment. I told him it was a mistake. I told him no." Him, not a name, a shadow with a pronoun. Dr. Levin nodded. "You are asking for repair," she said. "Repair begins with clarity and safety. Scott, what do you need to feel safe enough to try?" "I need to know the truth," I said, "even if it hurts." Vanessa reached for my hand. Her fingers were cold. "You already know the truth," she said softly. "It happened once. It ended. We're here." I want to tell you I felt relieved. That's not how it went. I felt like a floorboard above a crawl space, still holding, but hollowed out underneath in a way I could hear if I put my ear to myself. The first week after, I walked like I was learning to carry a glass of water to a table again. Work was work. Numbers were numbers. I did tax estimates, I sent reminders, I ate yogurt at my desk and told myself, routines are ropes you tie around your waist when the tide pulls. At home, the bed was the same bed. The dog was the same dog. Vanessa leaned into me on the couch and watched a baking show and made little sounds when the cakes came out wrong, and I ran my thumb across the back of her hand and told myself that forgiveness is an action verb. But small mismatches began to pop like bubble wrap under a slow foot. Vanessa said the staff meeting had been on a Thursday. When I asked which Thursday, she said, "The one before Memorial Day." I checked our shared calendar. She had blocked off that night for boot camp promo filming. The next morning on our kitchen island, I found the receipt for a rideshare at 1:41 a.m. from an address that wasn't the club. The driver's name had 5 stars and a smile. The note said, "Great passenger," like a little thumbs up at the end of a lie. "Why were you there?" I asked. I kept my voice soft, like you do when you're picking a glass splinter out of a child's foot. She smiled, but it didn't reach her. "Oh, after we filmed, we went to see Maggie's new place," she said. "She lives near there. It was on the way." "It's 10 miles in the other direction," I said. "You're misremembering," she said, and kissed my cheek like a period at the end of a sentence that didn't need one. On Thursday, she came home with eucalyptus on her skin and a shirt I didn't recognize. On Saturday, she asked me to please not text her after 9 p.m. during reset nights because she was trying to get off her phone for her mental health. On Sunday, she cried when a skillet sizzled too loud and said, "I hate that I made you suspicious. Please don't make me live in an interrogation." I promised I wouldn't. Then I went into the bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror and asked a grown man's question. What do you do when the truth you've been given doesn't weigh as much as the world? I did what I always do. I logged. Not the clandestine, messy log of a paranoid man, the careful log of an accountant. Times, facts, things that could be checked. If she said class ran late, I looked at the club schedule she'd shown me 100 times with pride. If she said we filmed until 11, I looked at the club's social media to see what posted when, not to catch her, to hold on to something that didn't move when I touched it. I also did the more human kind of noticing. The smell of a whiskey I don't drink on the cuff of her jacket, tan lines in a place her sports bras don't cover, 2 long hairs stuck to the inside of the passenger door that weren't her color and weren't mine. When I brought any of this up, she said 3 kinds of sentences. The first was, "That's not how it happened." The second was, "You're provoking me." The third was, "Why are you trying to make me the villain when I'm trying to fix this?" In therapy, she brought other sentences. "I want to move forward," she'd say. "I don't want to keep dying in that moment. Don't you want to stop dying in it too?" Yes. God, yes. But the moment kept coming back like a tide you didn't invite. And there's no moving forward without knowing where you're standing. Dr. Levin tried to help us meet in the same room. "Let's create a shared narrative," she said, and wrote 3 words on her notepad: event, impact, repair. Event is what happened. Impact is what it did to each of you. Repair is what we do next to address the damage. "Event," I said, and looked at Vanessa. "One time after a staff meeting. I waited." "Event," she said. Her eyes were beautiful and tired. "After hours. One time." "Impact," I said. "I can't tell what's real." "Impact," she said, and swallowed. "I feel watched, judged, like I'm a criminal in my own house." "Repair," Dr. Levin said gently. "Therapy," I said. "Honesty." "Patience," Vanessa said. "Trust." Those are good words. Those are correct words. For a week they held. Then I woke at 1007 a.m. to the sound of the dog doing that horrible gag before a throw-up, and found myself in the kitchen with a roll of paper towels and a prayer. When I came back to bed, Vanessa was asleep on her side, hand under her face the way she sleeps when she's truly out. In the morning, I made coffee and checked my watch. The heart app, the one that tells you might be dying or might just have walked upstairs, had a spike for her heart rate at 1007 a.m. Higher than exercise, the kind of spike you get when you sprint or when your body thinks it's sprinting. I stared at it and felt insane. It's not proof of anything, I told myself. It's only a line, but lines make pictures. I closed the app and put my watch face down and poured coffee into my travel mug like a person who didn't care about anything but getting through a Monday. Numbers, spreadsheets, people who put PLS advise in emails. The world turns either way. At night, in therapy, Vanessa brought her practiced calm. "This is what I mean when I say provoked," she said. "You're making graphs out of me." Dr. Levin held up a hand. "Scott, say what the spike meant to you, not what it proves." "It meant that my body woke up when hers did," I said, "and that I'm building stories out of lines because I don't have sentences." Vanessa looked at her lap. "I hate that you don't trust me," she said. "I hate the person I've made you into." "We made me into him together," I said. "Let's not pretend I did this alone." We walked out into a parking lot that smelled like hot rubber and cut grass. She took my hand and then dropped it again like she'd grabbed a wire she thought was ground and found out it was live. "Can we just," she said, and then shook her head. "We'll be okay." "Define okay," I said, but only in my head, because there's a difference between being brave and being cruel. A week turned into 3. Her story did not change. Mine did, by degrees so small I almost missed them. I started to doubt my own observations. Maybe the rideshare driver had typed the address wrong. Maybe the whiskey was from the open bar at the staff appreciation night. Maybe the tan lines were from a different bra, and I am a man who understands tax law, but not women's clothing. I stopped saying, "I noticed," and started saying, "Maybe I'm wrong." That is a dangerous sentence when you are the one who was asked to forgive. On a Sunday, we went to the market like a couple in a movie about starting over. We bought peaches and an overpriced candle that smelled like a room in Provence, and I tried not to think about people who light candles to cover other smells. At the checkout, Vanessa paid with her phone. A notification flashed on her lock screen so quick I almost missed it, a charge at a hotel bar across town. The night before. 2 drinks. I felt something low inside me tilt. "Teen night," she said when I asked, not looking at me. "We did rounds." "At a hotel?" I said. "Which one?" She breathed out through her nose. "Don't do this," she said. "Don't make me choose a side in my own life." The next Tuesday, Dr. Levin tried a different approach. "Let's make a timeline together," she said. "I don't care if it sounds tedious. It will help us anchor in the same reality." She pulled a big sheet of paper onto a low table and drew 5 vertical lines. Week 1, Week 2, Week 3, Week 4, Week 5. Right under each line what happened that matters. Not every detail, just the beats. Vanessa stiffened. "This is humiliating," she said. "It's humbling," Dr. Levin said. "There's a difference." We bent over the paper. I wrote, "Disclosure, apology, therapy." She wrote, "Apology, reconnection, hard conversations." "Okay," Dr. Levin said. "Next week's." I put 1 late night, 1 staff outing, 1 argument about being watched. Vanessa put reset night, filming late, staff drinks. Dr. Levin nodded. "Now, last week," I said, "market, hotel charge, fight." I looked at Vanessa. She picked up the pen, put it down, picked it up again. Her hand hovered. "Take your time," Dr. Levin said. Vanessa put the pen to the paper and made a dot. Then she drew a line and stopped. Then she looked at me and let out a sound I had never heard from her, something like a sigh and a laugh and a sob pressed together until they made a new noise. "Okay," she said, staring at the paper like it was a mirror that didn't love her. "Okay, it wasn't just once." I didn't move. If you have ever been exactly where you expected to be and still felt lost, you know the sense I had then. My body in a chair, my mind in a room under the ocean. "How long?" Dr. Levin asked. Her voice did not change. "A while," Vanessa whispered. "It started as staff flirting, then a night, then it got long, weeks. If I say months, I'll make him break, so I'm going to say weeks, but that is me protecting him, not telling the truth." "Tell the truth," Dr. Levin said. "Months," she said. "Before I told you. After, too. I tried to stop, and I didn't. I told myself one time because I thought that's the size of truth you could survive. I watched you choose my size for me," I said. My voice sounded like someone else's. "You decided I couldn't handle the reality of my own life." "I thought you would leave," she said, "and I didn't want to be alone with the mess I made." I turned to Dr. Levin because I needed a face not drowning. She met my eyes. "Breathe," she said. "Put your feet on the floor." I did. The carpet was rough. I was 39 the last time I cried in front of another adult. I was 40 the second time. I put my hands on my knees and didn't make a sound, and felt the weight pour out of my eyes in a way that finally matched the picture in my head. "I'm sorry," Vanessa whispered. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." "For what?" I asked. Not to be cruel, but because I needed to hear which part she thought the apology fit. "For lying," she said. "For leaving you to hold all the confusion. For making your sanity a negotiation tool. For making you beg for what you deserved to have been given." She took off the necklace I'd given her the first year we were together, a little bar with the date we moved in stamped on it. She spun it between her fingers the way she does when she needs to move something and can't move the world. "I thought I was protecting us," she said. "I thought if I could shrink the truth to the size of a mistake, we could step over it." "You didn't shrink it," I said. "You stretched me." We sat there until the clock on Dr. Levin's wall clicked to the top of the hour with a soft sound like a knuckle popping. Dr. Levin said, "You don't have to decide your whole life today. Scott, it can be enough to know what happened and to know that in this room, your reality is not up for debate. We can build steps if you want to build steps, or we can build a door." I nodded. I couldn't feel my face. "I need air," I said. In the parking lot, the sun hit me like a train. I stood by a row of zinnias someone had planted to make a medical building feel like it had a heart, and I called my mother. "I need you to not give me a Bible verse," I said when she answered, and she laughed and then swallowed it because she heard the edge in my voice. "Okay," she said. "No verse, just me." She said, "Months," I said. "Come here," she said, "or do you want me there?" "Neither," I said. "I want to stand by these flowers and breathe." "Then stand and breathe," she said. "Your body knows how. Your heart will remember." And Scott, second chances are holy because they're free, not because they're required. If you give one now, make sure it's not just an escape from making a harder choice. I hung up and watched a bumblebee land, heavy as a coin. When it flew away, a part of me flew with it. Another part stayed where it was. That was the split, and the beginning of the end. At home, the house did not change. That is one of the cruelest things about endings. The couch remains a couch. The pan remains a pan. The bed will take your weight. Vanessa sat at the table with both hands around a mug she wasn't drinking. "I can answer questions," she said. "I don't have questions," I said. "I have decisions." She nodded. "Are you leaving?" "I'm leaving the version of me that lives on the condition that you agree with what I saw," I said. "I'm leaving the negotiations. I don't know yet where my body will sleep, but I'm leaving the bargain." She put her face in her hands and spoke through her fingers. "I thought the truth would kill you." "It almost did," I said. 10 minutes at a time, every day. That's a slow death. I'd rather choose the quick one and see if I live." I packed a bag, socks, shirts, the 2 pairs of pants I wear until they give up. A book my father gave me about small engines that I've never read but keep because I like how often the word torque shows up. A photo of us from 4 years ago with our dog at a lake because grief likes anchors and I can't shame myself into pretending I wasn't happy then. I needed somewhere that would not confuse me. 3rd floor, no elevator, windows that show me something that moves whether I look at it or not. I found it in a week, a tiny room off a hall that smelled like old carpets and curry, with a view of the Red Line over on the cut. The trains clacked through like metronomes you don't have to wind. I signed a short lease with a landlord who reminded me of my 7th grade math teacher and told me to buy a plunger when I could. When I unlocked the door the first time, my heart did a thing I'd been waiting months to feel. It beat in my own rhythm, not hers, not ours, not therapy's. Mine. I told Vanessa I'd come back Saturday with movers for the furniture we decided I'd take, that we could fill a spreadsheet with the rest, that we would treat each other like co-workers at a job we cared about, polite, clear, present, and out of each other's way. She cried and said, "Will you tell people I'm a monster?" "No," I said. "I'll tell the people I love that the truth wasn't a currency you were willing to use. That's different." At the new place, groceries felt like a ceremony. Men always think they're going to buy noble things when they live alone. I bought cereal and coffee and eggs and forgot how to cook all 3 in a way that was worth eating. I bought a plant because I wanted something in the room that depended on me and wasn't dramatic about it. I bought a used desk off a guy who told me he'd written his dissertation on it and, when I raised an eyebrow, said fine. I watched a lot of basketball on it. I liked him instantly for telling on himself. I told my boss I needed to work from home for 2 weeks. He said, "Rough patch?" I said, "I'm moving." He said, "Take the time, then get back here. The audit won't forgive you." He is a man who makes jokes only when the ship isn't sinking, and he made one, so we were okay. I told my father I was leaving. He nodded like a man who knows what a slow leak looks like and is relieved you finally brought the car in. My mother brought me a set of sheets that went with nothing else I owned, and a jar of honey she swears tastes like the field it came from. She touched the windowsill and said, "It's loud." "I want loud," I said. "It drowns your thoughts," she said. "It gives them a beat," I said. I told my friend James, who is the kind of friend who won't let you drown in silence, and he said, "Can I come see it?" He walked in, looked out at the tracks, and said, "If you learn to sleep here, you can sleep anywhere." Then he hugged me in that quick, tight way men my age have learned from our kinder sons. The first Friday, a train went by at 2012 a.m., and I woke up smiling because I had remembered to set a glass of water on the crate I was using as a nightstand, and the water didn't tremble when the cars rattled past. That felt like a sign from a non-religious God. You can be shaken and still not spill. Vanessa texted the next morning, "Do you want to keep therapy? For closure?" I stared at the dots. "I'll do co-parent style therapy if we ever need to split a dog or decide who gets Christmas. Otherwise, no." She texted back, "You always make things gentle when they don't have to be." "I make them specific," I typed, then deleted it and wrote, "Be well." I still had to go to the old place to pack the things we'd agreed on. The couch, 2 lamps, the Dutch oven I'd used to pretend I liked cooking, the framed map of Boston we bought the day she moved to town and said, "We live here now." I set it aside and the pile headed her way because I didn't want to wake up to that shape of us every day. She came out of the bedroom with a box I hadn't packed. "Your shirts," she said. "They smell like our dryer." "Everything smells like our dryer for a while," I said. "Do you hate me?" she asked. Not, "Do you hate what I did?" The kind of question people ask when they want a feeling they can survive in a single syllable. "No," I said. "I hate the way you used my love as a cover for a story you weren't brave enough to tell, but hate is heavy. I'm traveling light." She nodded. "He asked if I'm okay," she said, and I knew who he was without her saying it. I told him I'm not. I told him I can't do this. She looked at me. "Do you want to know if I'm still seeing him?" "No," I said, and felt the weight of the simplest answer in my mouth. That's not my life. Mine is in a 3rd-floor walk-up with trains and a plant I'm trying not to kill. "I am trying to learn to tell the truth when it's ugly," she said. "I don't know how to do it yet without making it about me." "Practice on a stranger," I said, and surprised both of us by smiling. She almost smiled back. Almost. There is a stage between a life and the next life where you play your old songs quietly so you don't scare the new neighbors. I cooked badly. I called my mother every night for a week and then every other night, and then once on Sundays. I went to the small park where I used to read when I was single the first time and tried to read there again, and my brain said, "No, we are not doing this. We are watching people and thinking about onions." I stood in my window at 4,000 p.m. when the red line churned toward evening, and I let the rhythm remind me that permanence isn't the same as stillness. The trains keep their appointments. You can too. A man on my floor named Leon plays piano like he's apologizing to it. I found that out because the hallway carries sound like a river carries light. I knocked on his door one Tuesday with a plate of brownies that came out strange, and a very small woman with very large glasses opened it and said, "He doesn't need more sugar, but I do. Come in." Leon waved from a keyboard that had seen better days and said, "You look like someone who could count to 4. "I can count to 100, I said. 4 is for children." "4 is for saints," he said, and slid a stool toward me. I hadn't played since college when a roommate who believed in my better self handed me a guitar and told me not to give it back. Leon pointed to a rhythm and said, "Just hit the downbeat. Don't try to do more." We did that for an hour. I went home knowing I'd hit 4 at least half the time and that it had felt like breathing. The first time I saw Vanessa after the move was 2 weeks in at the store near the river where you can buy fruit and flowers and a magazine about bicycles nobody will read. She looked rested in a way I didn't expect. She looked 10 minutes older and 10 minutes younger. We almost hugged. We did that weird dance people do when their bodies remember a path, but the sign says, "Road closed." "How's the plant?" she asked, which told me she had listened to me when I packed. "Alive," I said. "How's the house?" "Quiet," she said. "Quiet is okay," I said. "I'm learning how to sit in it," she said, "without filling it with something that destroys it." "That's a good sentence," I said. "Keep it." "I have to go," she said, and did not look at her watch, which is how I knew she was leaving, because she needed to, not because a device told her she should. She put a hand on my arm. "Thank you for not making me your villain online," she said. "It's a strange thing to say, but I needed to say it." "I don't want to perform my life for other people," I said. "Turns out that's one lesson you gave me I'm keeping." She walked away. I watched her go because I wanted the image in my head to match the sight in my eyes. It did. I felt something that might have been grief and might have been relief and was probably the place where they are the same river. Work stayed what it was, relentless, precise, forgiving if you show up. I did audits and estimated quarterly taxes and explained to a man named Chad that you can't deduct your girlfriend is not personal. I put my head down and let competence carry me when courage got tired. I bought better eggs and learned that the smell of coffee in a small room is a friend you can make and keep. I said yes to small things, a trivia night where I knew 3 answers, a bench in the park where an old man told me jokes for free, a free museum day where I looked at a painting of a bridge and thought, someone once decided to connect 2 sides and then did. One night, a train stopped on the track for 10 minutes outside my window. Maintenance or a signal problem or a person who needed more time. You could see faces in the lit cars, a kid in a baseball uniform asleep on a mother's arm, a woman in scrubs rubbing her eyes, a man in a suit practicing a speech under his breath. I stood there and felt the city hold its breath with me. When the train moved again, the whole block exhaled. I did too. The last time I saw Dr. Levin was on a Monday when the light in her office made 2 rays across the rug, and I thought, that must be a sign, and then thought, stop making everything a sign. She said, "Do you want this hour?" And I said, "I want to say thank you and goodbye." "You're sure?" she asked. "Yes," I said. "The only conversations about us I need to have now are with people who live inside my apartment." She smiled like I'd answered a riddle. "Then let's end on a sentence you can carry," she said. "Truth isn't something you bargain for, it's a condition. If you have to trade for it, it never arrives complete." I wrote it down in my phone. I keep it between the notes for groceries and the list of songs Leon wants me to learn. I read it when I start to make deals with ghosts. Some nights, I wake up and reach across the bed like a man checking for his wallet. Habit is a kind of phantom limb. My hand meets cool sheets and I put it under my head and stare at red tail lights sliding along the cut as the train takes people back home. I wonder who they're going home to. The best sentence I can say about myself is that I'm going home to me. There's a pizza place under the tracks that sells slices as big as a legal pad and soda in cups that make dentists shake their heads. A woman who works there calls me professor because I wear glasses and think about things before I say them. Once she said, "You look better." And I said, I feel less like I'm waiting to be told what happened to me. And she said, that's a kind of better, and slid an extra garlic knot onto my plate like she was gifting me a small sacrament for not lying to myself. Vanessa sent me one last text a month ago. I've started a different job, it said. Less nights, less noise. I wanted you to know I'm trying to live more like someone I'd want our old self to meet. I typed, I wish you well, and put my phone face down and went to Leon's and missed the downbeat on purpose just to see if I could find it again. I could. I don't have an ending. I have a room with windows and a view that keeps moving whether I move or not, and a plant that leans toward light if I remember to turn it once a week, and a set of sheets that smell like the detergent I chose by sniffing the caps in the aisle like a man deciding his own weather. I have a sentence that fits on an index card, and in my chest, the truth is not a currency. If someone makes you trade for it, walk. Take your heart down 3 flights of stairs without a lift and teach it to beat for itself again. It will. It does. Do you think I should have stayed in therapy longer, or did leaving when the truth finally landed make more sense for a clean rebuild? Where's your line between giving someone grace and letting yourself get bartered into a smaller version of you? Like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this and to hear what the red line sounds like at dawn when the whole city tries to start over.